Hi students, our topic today is describe a time when you traveled by public transport. Say which mode of transport it was, when you traveled, what the purpose of your travel was, and how you felt about it. So what are the different types of public transport modes that you can talk about? There's of course mass transport systems such as planes, trains, buses and ferries. Or you can talk about private commercial services such as cabs or autos. You can also talk about personal public transport, which is a new type of public transport that's emerging in cities, which is a network of vehicles such as bicycles or scooters, which are distributed throughout an area and available to the general public. Now let's move on to the sample answer. There are several modes of public transport such as trains, buses, flights, metros, etc., which cater to the travel needs of thousands of people day in and day out. I am a frequent user of public transit services, mostly buses for the daily commute between my workplace and home, or sometimes flights or trains for long journeys. But last year I had a memorable ride on a very unusual public transit service which I had never experienced before. It was a ferry cruise across a lake during my trip to Kerala. I have been on boat rides across rivers, but this was different because the ferry carried not just passengers but also vehicles such as bikes, cars, mini lorries, etc. So, unlike usual boats, the ferry had a large flat surface with rails on both ends for the vehicles to be accommodated. When the ferry was docked at the jetty, they attached a sort of bridge between the ferry and the land to make it easy for the vehicles to drive onto the ferry. I can say boarding the ferry by car was quite scary because we have to drive in and park into the allotted space. Once I had parked my car safely, we were asked to put the handbrakes on to keep the car from moving. When the ferry set off, I just sat calmly inside my car and began to enjoy the cruise. The smooth ride through the still waters was such a pleasant change from my usual drive through traffic clogged roads. I was totally fascinated by the spectacular view of the lake, the refreshing cool breeze, the frolicking sea gulls, and the floating seaweeds. But in about 15 minutes, my ride was over and it was time to disembark. I still cherish the memory of this charming and quaint ferry ride. Now let's look at some points that will be helpful in the discussion part. What can you say about public transportation in the future? Well, I believe public transport facilities will be revamped in the coming years. Cities today face severe traffic congestion, deteriorating air quality due to increasing carbon emissions, and the increasing number of private vehicles in urban spaces is a major cause of this problem. And as the population in cities rises, the traffic situation will only worsen. So highly efficient public transit systems are an urgent need today, and so we can expect more upgraded public transport in the future. So what are the features of an efficient public transport system? Of course, speed and frequency. Often public transport is erratic and inadequate. People frequently experience delays. Also, it should have GPS-based real-time tracking and route information, which should help commuters to plan accordingly, and such services will be more reliable and dependable. Also, they should be safe, comfortable, should not be overcrowded, and should preferably use alternative fuels like CNG or electric engines. With that, we come to the end of this video, and I'll soon be back with yet another very useful video, and all the best for your studies. Subscribe and click on the bell icon for more updates.